And so welcome. Welcome to Parent University. This is our second session of the year. If you're just coming for the first time, I will point you guys in the direction as to where the first session materials can be found. And I look forward to this monthly opportunity to allow the school and the parents to strengthen our connection. And before we get going, I would also like to express my support. Thank you, Mrs. Casas, for all of your support and guidance and leadership and help in this exciting project. So I'm a teacher here. This is my 12th year teaching. And then I have the distinct honor of also having this project Parent University lead. And there's two goals that I would like to share with you as we kind of get this program going on campus. And we can see it from these two perspectives. So the first is, of course, to inform and educate parents on the school programs and how to best support student learning at San Benito High School. This year is particularly important with the distance learning, and everyone is learning new things. And so this is a great opportunity for us to work together on that. The second goal is, of course, to connect and engage with parents. So this should be a collaborative team for student success. You'll notice at the end of this presentation that I'll be giving out an interest survey. And I would like for you guys to fill it out with topics that are of need or of interest to you. So hopefully we can continue to work together, like I said, to create this team for student success. And so what if I miss a session, or if something happens and I get kicked out of this Zoom right now? I am now in 3 places. I'm excited to announce. I was in 2. I created a Google Classroom last session. And the reason I did that is because I wanted parents to have the opportunity to view things from their students' perspective. So you can go ahead, and as long as you have a Google account, there's an area where you click on the plus sign, and I can walk you guys through that as well if anybody needs assistance. And you'll see a little chalkboard. And so you click on that symbol, and then you type in this code. And once you type in that code, you are in essence in that class. And I'll post everything that I ever go over here. So this is my second session presentation that I'm giving right now, and then the interest survey that I was referring to. And here's the one from the first session. I also organize it into topics in classwork. And this is very similar to the types of navigating Google Classroom that your student does. So they have to click on Stream to see the announcements from their teachers, and they have to click on Classwork to see their assignments. So I posted everything there. Just, if you want to look at the recordings later on, you have access to all of those videos if you decide to join my Google Classroom. And if not, it's even easier. I'm so happy that the school went ahead and put this on the reopening website. So you just simply click on that link, and this is San Benito High School reopening website that appears on our homepage. And if you just scroll on down, there it is. So you can see all of the videos. That takes you to my YouTube. The presentations will probably appear in folders. We'll organize it as we get going. So you can find me in any of those 3 places. The third one that I didn't mention is YouTube. So I'll post the videos on YouTube for people that don't have Google accounts, so you can access it any of those ways. So what will we discuss this evening? There's 3 topics. They're all somewhat related, and they are related to the social emotional needs of adolescents. They're very specific during these years, and what we'll discuss is not only the psychological and physiological characteristics that explain their behavior and why they act the way that they do, but also some ideas to support those needs and understanding of their needs. There's an exciting program on campus that I'm going to introduce you to if you have not heard of it, and it's Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. We also go through an acronym, PBIS. And so you might hear educators throwing out that acronym term, and this is what they are referring to. So this is school-wide. It's focusing on recognizing the positive behaviors and values shown by students as opposed to the negative, which would be the typical disciplinary, detention, punishment type of response. And so instead of that, we choose to value the positive behaviors, and through teaching those positive behaviors and clear expectations, students are then more motivated to reach them, quite honestly, and it leads to social, emotional, and academic success. And then lastly, we'll be talking about student and family wellness, creative and engaging ideas for promoting wellness at home, and finding positive ways to release stress as a family, which of course is going to support their learning. All has a connection. So let's begin with the first topic, social emotional needs. You can see all of these different needs that our minds are going through, and it's even particular throughout your stages of life. So we'll be focusing on those of adolescence, of course. Education is making a shift from a purely academic focus to a focus on the whole child. Schools look to support learning, social emotional wellness, civic mindedness, and good physical health. So this is a direction that we are moving in as a district, and that the education world is moving in as they understand the connection between one's wellness and their ability to learn. And so we are now offering supports for all of the needs of adolescents, the whole child. And so why is this important? I know I've mentioned it more than once now. Social emotional health is going to have a positive influence on academic success. There's five different areas that I would like to cover that are typical social emotional development characteristics of the adolescent years. And so the first that I'm going to cover is changing emotions. And when I say changing emotions, I'm referring to maybe frequent or infrequent, depending on the circumstances, changes of mood. So they might be in a really amazing mood one day, and something that perhaps was not all that important just drove them down to having the worst day of their life, that afternoon. And so there can be this flux, and there's stuff going on physiologically and psychologically that's affecting that flux. They're looking for their personal identities. So during this time frame, that they're on the search. They're on the search and the quest for discovering who they are, discovering what their purpose is, where their strengths lie, and all of that is part of the process of becoming independent. And so that leads me to my third, independence and testing boundaries. I'm sure that we have all had an experience with one of our children where they were testing our boundaries. And teenagers are definitely known to do that. And it's for a reason. They are gaining their independence. They're in that final stage before independence. And so as a result, we can just expect that that will happen. And how we can combat or react to that is by always establishing clear boundaries and communicating those clear boundaries. Peer relationships is also really important. Imagine being a teenager during this time and not being able to have that social outlet. And during this time, the importance shifts from the family to the social outlet, to those friendships. So I really just recommend that we take that into account and think about how we can help our students continue those friendships, even when we have changes of our lifestyle. And so those are the first four: the changing emotions, quick changes of mood, establishing their personal identity, figuring out who they are, they're establishing their independence through that process, and testing boundaries. So it's up to us to keep those boundaries. And then of course they are going to socialize. Any teacher knows that students will chat and they are social beings. And so we need to value their necessity to have peer relationships. And then this last one, don't think it's self-centered in a negative sense. It's more an inability to understand other perspectives, and it's just still developing. For some, it's there less than others. It depends on where they are at developmentally, but this can be a characteristic to be cognizant of, that sometimes teenagers are going through this period where it's difficult for them to understand other people's points of view. And so with all of these 5 things, I wanted to share, I won't click on all of them and go through all of them in detail, but I wanted to share a resource for each. So later you will have access to this presentation and you can click on each box if you want to learn more. This one, for instance, is very cool. It's called the Purpose Challenge, and there's all kinds of free toolkits to help high school students find out their purpose, their passion. If your student is struggling with career interest, and it just kind of helps them reflect on where their strengths lie. So this is a cool resource to check out. I also love Microsoft Family Safety, because if I was not able to control the technology of my own children, then I would be in lack of boundaries, and I know that I need those boundaries. So this is a free app that I wanted to share with you guys. You can set up a calendar of hours or particular websites, and you can control whatever device you would like to. So you can go ahead and click on the other ones. This is like I sit in this chair, empty chair technique, to switch chairs and learn the other perspective. Sometimes it helps with conflict. So you can take your time to click and see any of those other resources at your own time. So no matter what, teenagers and adolescents are looking for 3 things from the people that they have in their lives. From the parents, from their siblings, from their friends. They're looking to feel respected. They're gaining their autonomy, and they want to feel valued. So they want their efforts to be recognized, and it's important to give them opportunities to exercise those passions that they have and those strengths that they have. And that helps increase self-value. Autonomous is similar to independence. So just encouraging their independence, prompting them to do things for themselves and to be self-driven and aware of their own process, of their goals. So tracking their goals, and you're still providing boundaries, but you are also letting them do it themselves. And then of course, like the entire world, everybody wants to feel respected. So whether it's a negative situation that happens with a teacher or a parent, they want that discussion that follows to be one of respect. So just making sure that we're always speaking in a respectful tone, and of course that we're speaking in the type of words that we would want to be spoken to.